Paris Saint-Germain, it seems like someone's just not meant to be the Champions League. That's what they want. They just can't seem to get there.
It's never really clicked for them. Last night was the perfect example. I did the commentary for the game. Bayern Munich are the perfect team. No real superstars in there. They've got some incredibly talented players and some exceptional players in their team and in their squad, strength in depth. They're talented, they're organised, and they work hard. And they play as a team, simple as that. PSG are the opposite of that. And I think until PSG address their issues of just buying the best players, then it's not going to work for them. I think one of their biggest problems is the French league is very easy for them. You are expected to win the league, and they win the league probably playing at 70%, 80% max. And you can afford to say to Mbappe, Messi, Neymar, obviously now injured, just go and play. Yeah. Just go and do what you want. And you know what? You're good enough. You're going to score enough goals.
They couldn't score over 2 legs, could they?
But when you come up against really good defenders, good opposition that are very, very organised and know what they're doing, you need a little bit more than individual brilliance. You know, you look at what Messi was for Argentina. The whole team was built around him to get the best out of Messi. That wasn't the case last night with PSG. Similarly with Mbappe in France. Although he was quiet maybe in the World Cup final until the last 15 minutes or so, he had those flashes of brilliance. Neither last night produced a moment of brilliance. And I was disappointed the way that they played. Neither of them really had an influence on the game, you know, last night. Didn't really create so many chances. Mbappe had a couple of half chances, shots on the turn. Messi didn't really create anything, you know, within that. The best 2 chances came from Ramos, headers from corners. And then, of course, there was Jan Sommer. He had a little bit of a mad moment, you know, gave the ball away. And then maybe it was a turning point in the game where PSG probably should have scored in that. But again, disappointment for PSG. Until they work out that they need to be a team and work as a team and work hard and play together as a team, then they're not going to win the Champions League.
Yeah, there's some I was looking at Danny, right? I thought Paris, it's not far away, jump on the Euros target. I looked at it, I thought, oh, Messi, Mbappe, Neymar. You know what, I'll take a few trips over to Paris, watch them in action, see them. But there's no part of me now there's any desire to really go and watch them play.
I watched them at Manchester City a couple of seasons ago, whenever that was. And I took my boys to watch Neymar, Mbappe and Messi. None of them moved. Yeah. They just stood in the centre circle. Yeah. They had no influence on the game, you know, whatsoever. And I think this is the problem. In the French league, it's too easy at times. They don't need to be at their very, very best. So to then step up in the Champions League games against really good opposition is hard. It's very, very difficult to just flick that switch and turn it on and raise your game by 20%.
Should they leave? I mean, you look at the World Cup final, the 2 best players on the pitch, 2 best players in the world on that day, Messi and Mbappe, and they're both in the same team. If you thought, wow, you put them 2 in the same team, what kind of team are you going to have? And then they've gone out without a whimper.
I've said all along, if PSG want to win the Champions League, there's 2 managers out there that you go and get. Simeone, because you have to work incredibly hard, and he will get people into work incredibly hard and will be so defensively solid, you can allow the front 3, just go and play, do what you want. Or Jose Mourinho, very, very similar. Not the 2 most attractive styles of play, not the flair and flamboyance that maybe you expect week in, week out. You're still going to win the French league. That's almost a given if you're PSG. But you allow those 2 managers to buy the players that they want, especially defensively. With the attacking talent that you then have, I think you have a much better chance. Because they've tried manager after manager after manager, and it hasn't worked because the superstars seem to be controlling the club and controlling what happens in the team rather than the manager.
Yeah, so they need a superstar name manager as well.
Yeah.
I mean, no Neymar, which you mentioned, he's out for the season now. I mean, did they miss him?
They had 2 17-year-olds, you know, come on last night. They've had their injury problems, but when you look at their squad and strength and depth in the past, it's 2 teams of full international players. They haven't got it right. They haven't got their recruitment right. You know, they haven't got their manager right, and every time they come up short in the Champions League. And there should be no reason for that, really. When the quality of players that they have. When you look at Bayern Munich last night, there wasn't a Bayern Munich player that was exceptional last night, but they were all 7.5, 8 out of 10. They all knew their job, they all did their job, and they all worked very, very hard, and they worked for each other. And therefore, they win the game. And they won the game comfortably last night. And that's always the team that works harder and is organised will always beat the team of individuals.
Let's have a look at a little graph here. It's been since 2016-2017 season. 4 consecutive seasons they've gone out at the round of 16. In the last 2 years, they were out at the last 16 once again. As you can see, they've progressed further. There's got a final and a semi-final in amongst that as well. But they've spent over £1 billion since the Qatari takeover. I mean, like you've just been hinting upon, he spent all the money in the world.
For the amount of money that they've spent and the quality of players that they have in their side, that record is atrocious. You know, 1 semi-final, 1 final. That is really, really poor. So why is that? You know, what is happening within that? If you look at, there are lots of very, very good young French players out there.
Yeah.
That they could put in that side at maybe a fraction of the cost that I think would perform better because they would play as a team and they would be more of a cohesive unit. Last night at times, you could tell Messi was obviously frustrated, was almost coming back and playing the quarterback role. Mbappe, there was one tactic, play the ball in behind for him, try and play it over the top and try and get Mbappe to use his pace in behind. There was no creativity, there was no spark, there was no real energy, you know, within that performance. And seen that time and time again, too many times from PSG.
Money don't buy success, does it? It feels almost as though players go. You're saying they signed that Hugo Ekitike. He was a promising young French striker. He's gone there, he just got lost in amongst it all. It's almost like once you get there, players aren't prepared to put the graft in. It's just strange. It just seems like strange club.
I think because the French league, because they are so superior.
Yeah,
it's quite easy. You might get 2 or 3 difficult games a season. That's about it. Most of the time, it's like, you know what? We turn up. We are so much better than the opposition, even if we don't play particularly well. We win the majority of games and we win the league.
So when they play Champions League, they're not ready for it because they're just used to playing.
They're used to playing at three-quarter pace, 75%. And if you get in that habit, if you train at three-quarter pace, you play at three-quarter pace, suddenly you can't up that level. It's very, very difficult to be able to do that. And I think that's why they need, if they want to be successful in the Champions League, which is their ultimate goal, they need a very, very strong manager in there that's going to piece together a team. And I think Simeone could do it.
Yeah.
Mourinho could do it. It might only last a couple of years, but he'd get much closer than most teams. And again, bear in mind, they will spend anything. You give Mourinho the money to do that, and he will piece together the best jigsaw. That's what he's always done, and that's when he's been at his most successful.